Salve, and welcome to Parsing John. Today we are in the very last verse of chapter 1. That would be verse 51 right here. Here's a rubric, everything that we're looking for as we go through the text. Now, let's not start just yet. Two things that I needed to look up in the last video. I took the time to do it this time immediately. Fig tree, fiku here, I need to figure out what gender that is. And it is, in fact, feminine. And the interesting thing about fiku is it's both a second declension, feminine, and a fourth declension, feminine. It can use forms from either. Kind of like domus, in that it is both a second and a fourth. Anyway, pretty interesting there, but feminine, so I can correct that, and the other time on the previous page. Next thing was credo. It's funny, the stuff that you forget. Credo is one of those fundamental words that you're supposed to know, and I couldn't remember what conjugation was. It is third conjugation, so perfect is not an option. It's credo, credere, credidi, so present is the only one that is correct there. And that's the last housekeeping stuff that we have to do. Now let's get started. Et dicit amen amen. Dico vobis videbitis caelum apertum et angelos Dei ascendentes et descendentes supra filium hominis. And there we go. Our very first word is et, meaning and. It's pretty easy to work with. Dicit we've seen beforehand, but since this is a new tense from these two, going to make it, we're going to parse it properly. So it here is third person singular present tense, active and indicative. Says, don't see a noun for that, so I'm going to put he. A, which we have seen before right there, so I'm not going to decline it again, not decline it, parse it again. To him. Then we have direct discourse here. Amen, amen. We can't really parse those since they are not native Latin, let alone native Greek. They come from Hebrew, so we can just merely write down what they mean, which is truly. There's more than one option, but that's the one I'm going to use. Truly, truly. Dico, this is the first person form of that, and it is singular, and then I'm not going to parse any more of that. Save time. I say vobis, vos, voster, vobis, vos, vobis. This could be dative or ablative plural. Since we have dico here, we want the dative as the indirect object. No gender, since both masculine and feminine use those forms together. To, you, all. Videbitis, vobis bit bimus bitis, so second person, plural, future, active, and indicative. You all will see. Caelum, you in here. Now here's another thing that I forgot to look up, and one of those things that one shouldn't forget. Caelum, is it Kylus, Kylie, or Kylum, Kylie? I think it's Kylum, Kylie. I'm going to go with it being neuter. Stupid brain. Oh well. So accusative, since we want a direct object with videbitis, singular, neuter, question mark. Sky, or heaven. Apertum, um here tells us that it's the same form as Kylum. This is apereo, aperere, aperui, apertus, aum. So this is the participle, perfect passive. It's going to be accusative again, singular, neuter, perfect, passive, indicative, opened, and if you want to include it, HB opened, et, and, angelos, omicron sigma there tells us accusative plural, masculine, angels. But if we take a look at the original meaning of the Greek word angelos, it can mean angels as we say them now, but technically what it means is messenger, so messengers. Dei, This is one of our more frustrating words, where it's hard to tell what form this is actually taking. However, since we're dealing with the Bible, we know that there are certain plural forms which are not a thing, which then narrows things down to only one option, really, and that is genitive singular. Saving us a lot of trouble. Of God. Ascendentes. So epsilon sigma here could be nominative plural, or it could be accusative plural. Looking around, we don't have any plural verbs beforehand, but we do have accusative plural here, so that's most likely what this is. Draw that one to this one. Accusative plural would be masculine, and then skendo, skendores, sgendis. I don't remember what the first principal part of that is, but since we've got a preposition on here, sometimes that changes how the principal parts work. And since we have inti, this has to come on our present stem. Askendo, e-o or just o, probably just o. Skendo only has an o. So present, active participle. And this means what it looks like. Ascending. Et could be connecting a new direct object for videbitis, a new participle for angelos, or a completely new clause, but we didn't see any verbs here, so that's not likely. Descendentes, it's the same form as ascendentes, except with de instead of a. I'm not going to bother parsing this again, since clearly it's the exact same thing. Also referring back to angelos. This means also what it looks like it says. Descending. Supra, preposition. It takes the accusative as its object, which makes sense since we've got motion with both of these participles. It means over, or I believe. No, the super means above or to the place above, but supra is slightly different, and I cannot clearly remember what the different options are, but over is good enough, really. Filium ends in um, which makes it accusative, singular, masculine, makes sense as the object of that. Oop, wrong type of bracket, sorry. Son. And then we have hominis, homo, hominis, so genitive singular, and masculine. Of man. And that is verse 51. Let's take a look at it in its own context. Where did it start? And he says to him, truly, truly, I say to you all will see sky or heaven opened, and angels or messengers of God ascending and descending over Son of Man. And there we go. So far, so good. Let's take a look at the greater context from verse 43. And then we're done with this chapter. Nice. Till tomorrow, he wished to go out into Galilee. And he found where he finds Philip, and says to him, Jesus says to him, follow me. However, Philip was from Bethsaida, city of Andrew and Peter. Philip finds Nathanael and says to him, what Moses wrote in law and prophets, we found. Jesus, son of Joseph from Nazareth. And Nathanael said to him, is anything able from Nazareth to be good? Philip says to him, come and see. Jesus saw Nathanael coming, or technically sees, could be either one, to himself. No, can't be sees because that's second. So many mistakes, sorry. To himself, and says about him, look, truly Israelite in whom is not deceit. Nathanael says to him, whence did you know me? Jesus responded and said to him, before Philip called you, when you were under the feminine fig tree, I saw you. Nathanael responded to him and said, Rabbi, you are Son of God, you are King of Israel. Jesus responded and said to him, because I said to you, I saw you under fig tree, do you believe? greater than these you will see. And he says to him, truly, truly, I say to you all will see sky or heaven opened, and angels of God ascending and descending over Son of Man. And there's I almost said verse 1. There is chapter 1. We're finally done. Thank you very much for joining me through all of this. I hope taking a look at this entire chapter has been very helpful for you, and I hope that you continue along with me as we compare this final paragraph of the Latin to the final paragraph of the Greek and see how they do. So far, the Latin's it's struggling. After that, my current plan is just to continue on into chapter 2 with a slightly changed format, maybe. If there are any special requests, I will consider them. Just let me know in the comments. Again, thank you very much for joining me. I hope you have a very good day. Wale.